right. Okay, for cross country, you guys are a little bit of a different sport because you are often running everywhere, but not on campus. So I'll tell you kind of what we do on campus, and then you'll have to modify this as you're out running with the kids. Okay, so let's talk first what an emergency action plan is. This is essentially the roles of the responder, including the coaches, if there is an emergency. So that includes the location that the EMS will arrive to, the equipment that will be used, and what to do in a large scale evaluation. And we do this by venue so that each team in each sport has the most current or up to date data on how to handle an emergency the best way for that location. So here is for our track. And so often, like I said, they won't be running here often, but maybe they'll be doing like a speed workout on the track or something like that. So it is useful to note that an ambulance will kind of come up. Anything with a gold star is where there is a gate that they might have to get through to get to that location. So making sure that whoever is designated to unlock the gates and guide the ambulance in has the 105 key, because these are all 105 gates. Okay. Following that, if they, let's say that you guys are in the interfacility for whatever reason, the ambulance will come the opposite way and come through that north parking lot on 130 North. And then they can also get to the track that way. It is a little easier if they come through this way. The gates are a little easier to come through, but this is a good location, especially if there is a lot of traffic around this area or this area. Okay, now I do have a picture of the Kestrel on here. A Kestrel is a wet bulb globe temperature monitor. Essentially, it's checking various things, including the humidity in the air, and to determine if it is safe for athletes to participate. So these are the guidelines that we follow. The thermometer will actually have a readout right on it telling you what color, and so attached to it there will be a guide telling you what it means. Now, for cross country, this is really not something that we need to worry about too often unless you're going to be on the turf, because that is usually the only area that we worry too much. Maybe the asphalt, for if you guys are doing something out on the asphalt. But for the most part, this will be mostly applicable to the turf or track field. If your teams are going to be working out in the weight room or spin room or the gyms, they'll follow the same route that we went, but they'll actually enter the main south entrance there and go into the gyms or the weight room that direction. If the athlete is in the athletic training room, they'll just come and continue on that road and then just come through that outdoor entrance to the training room. All right, so here's the roles of the first responders. So we've got immediate care of the injured or ill athlete, and then activation of the EMS services by calling 911 and providing all the information they ask for, and then activating the phone tree. The phone tree essentially is who we're going to call next, and I will give these to the head coaches to share with their staff. And then what emergency equipment is needed to help remove any equipment. Cross country, there isn't much equipment removal, not like football, so that's kind of nice. And then who's going to direct EMS to scenes, including opening gates, flagging down the ambulance, and who's going to help control the scene, maybe moving the team or the crowd away from the individual and the bystanders away, so that we can have some privacy. We have all of our emergency equipment located either in the training room or in the golf carts, just depending on where our activities are for that day. And then we have various AED locations around the school. And we just got a couple more. I haven't updated them on here. But we have an AED located near the welding classroom, by the upstairs and downstairs faculty rooms, by the auditorium and the alcove, by the spin room. And then we actually have 2 located with us as the athletic trainers. So it might be 2 in the golf cart or 1 in the training room if we've got volleyball going on, and 1 out in a golf cart. And the other new one that they provided was out in the indoor facility. So we have 8 instead of 6 now, which is really fantastic. We also have emergency ice available at various locations. So if the indoor facility is getting used on a regular basis, it usually isn't for the first few months, but once winter sports and spring sports start to use it, we'll have an ice chest with ice bags out there. Some teams, for example, like softball, likes to have their own individual cooler because they use so much ice. So that's something we could do. It just have to be communicated ahead of time. And then in the concession stand in that middle closet, there is a large deep freeze that we will have 40 or 50 bags in there to use if needed. So even if we're not around, there is access to ice. But obviously here in the training room, we've got our ice machine. So as long as we haven't filled up a million coolers, we should have a decent amount of ice here. All right. One thing I wanted to talk about before I finish for you guys is what to do with somebody get injured out on the road. If the coaches are running with the athletes, or isn't, there needs to make sure there is one phone with each running group so that if somebody gets injured or hurt, they have access to call 911. Because I'm not there, you will call 911 and follow the protocols that way and give the best medical care you can. I understand that most people are not carrying a kit while they run, med kit while they're running. So do the best you can with the supplies you have, and then just immediately report to me what happened, and so we can get an injury report created on that. If you've got any questions at all, please reach out and let me know.